Thank you all for coming out. Today I'm conversing with Ms. Cordelia Strube. Cordelia Strube is a fascinating character because she presents a world of indeterminacy, a world of shifting convictions, of shifting identities, and people who just want to somehow do the right thing when they're never sure what the right thing is. And a lot of the times they're not sure who is doing the right thing. They don't really know who they are. And she takes us into the center of her characters and deposits us there and forces us to question the characters, their shifting convictions, their shifting identities. And when the book ends, you have the sense that it hasn't ended, that Lemon and Raymond and all the other characters will keep on doing what they are doing, and the questions that she has presented to you after you have closed the books will remain with you and will somehow temper your existence from that point on. Does that sound kind of like what you do?
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, that's great.
You wrote plays for CBC from about, was 85 to 89?
Yeah, well, I won the CBC, I don't know the years, John, you're better than I am. It's been a long time, that's all I know.
That was the 80s.
Yeah, and that's when I've been working in radio plays, acting in them, and found a lot of the dialogue rather clunky, and so I said, well, why don't I try to write one? And the producers all went, well, you're an actor, you can't, write a radio play. So then I thought, well, maybe if I win the CBC Literary Competition, they'll listen to me. So I wrote a play called Mortal for the CBC Literary, and I won. And I have to tell you, when I won that prize, I was saying the most terrible F words. I was so stunned. Like Robert Weaver, do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, he loved me. I mean, he supported me throughout and was always saying that he loved phoning me because he would give me money and I'd get hysterical, right? Which was because prize money is a very, very big deal. So that sort of kicked open that door. Yeah. And then suddenly they would take me seriously.
What did you learn from writing radio plays? What did you learn about the art of writing?
Well, radio is fascinating because it's all obviously auditory, so you have to put so much in the dialogue without shoving exposition into the dialogue. If you're all writers, you know how deadly exposition in dialogue is. So you have to create ambiance, you have to create everything through the dialogue. So it has to be very sparse, very clean, very rhythmically different. Everybody has to sound different. You can't have the same verbal tics and. And it's probably the most challenging kind of writing to do because you don't have pictures.
So your skills as an eavesdropper came in handy?
Very handy, yeah, very.
Alex and Z came out in 1994. You know the truism with music is you get your whole life to write your first record and 2 years to write the second. Did you spend your whole life writing Alex and Z? Or was it something that came to you? What was the genesis of that? When was the genesis first off?
I don't know what year it was, but it began with a conversation I overheard in a cinema, in a repertory cinema, and it was a woman complaining about her deadbeat partner, saying, you get a job, I want to have a baby, I want to do things, I want to progress beyond sitting in the review theater and eating popcorn and looking at movies from the 60s. So I thought, wow, this is a universal problem, women trying to get their men to mobilize. And so, but what I wanted with that book very much was to not be a guy-bashing novel, but to very much, it's written from both points of view. And so third-person subjective from both points of view. And when they're in scenes together, you get both their points of view, third-person subjective. So I was really balancing this relationship, revealing her point of view and his point of view.
You were published by Coach House, Alex and Z. What was your path to publication? How did that come about?
Well, that's a really bizarre story. You guys are trying to get published, a lot of you, so this might help you a bit, because I was rejected everywhere. And I was working on a film. I was in development with a film with the son of June Callwood. Do you know who June Callwood was? And he really liked my writing, and he said, well, why don't you give the book to my mother to read? She might dig it. So I gave it to June Colwood, and she read it, and she liked it, and she said, well, why don't we give it to Ed Carson, who's the president of HarperCollins? And I'm going, oh, wow, you know, this is my big break, it's all going to happen. And so I want to emphasize, this all takes months, huh? You know this, it takes months to get published, years. So it goes to Ed Carson, and he calls me in for a meeting. Again, I'm going, wow, you know, I'm 23 or whatever it is. And he says, I love the book, but I want you, I strongly think you need to take Z out of the book. So Z, as I just described to you, is a carefully orchestrated male, and taking him out of the book would be, to me, devastating.
It's like taking the yang from the yin.
Exactly. Now, something that some of you might have heard about, which is the publisher's argument was it would make the book more, and it's an M word, you know this word, it would make the book more marketable, because strong central female characters sell. And Alex was strong as shit, very strong.
Did they want you to be Margaret Atwood?
I got a lot of that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of that. And on CBC they said, quite possibly the new Margaret Atwood.
I've seen
and they put that on books, yeah. How many new possibly Margaret Atwoods have there been, right? I was possibly the new Carol Shields, and lately the new Alice Munro. It's pretty hilarious.
Do you have any more? You are a comic writer, can we agree on that?
Oh, yes.
Now let's talk about comedy.
Okay.
You know, what is funny and what isn't funny, I don't know.
It's highly subjective, right?
It's highly subjective.
Yeah.
The typical comedic figure, comic or comedic figure, is the figure at odds with the world. The world is okay, he's kind of weird. Charlie Chaplin. Kramer.
Yeah.
But with you, the characters seem okay, but the world seems off. Is that, it's sort of a funhouse world your characters inhabit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the comedy comes out of, obviously, incident, right, and characterization. So what I try to do is put my characters, who I love so much, it's insane. I'm very attached to all my characters, even the nasty ones. And I put them into a situation that will bring out humor through their reaction to the situation, or their attempts to get out of the situation. So I guess it's a kind of situation comedy.
Do you have a sense of your books now when you look at them? Do you have a sense of them as a whole, any sort of thematic or ideological concerns?
I think that one of the Globe and Mail critiques was Beverly, I don't know, anyway, she was publisher at Mercury Press or something. Bev Doria was her name. And it was an astonishing review. It was a very favorable review, which we're always extremely grateful for. But she described my books as pleas for awareness, and I thought that was really a good way of putting it, because I will show you and I will entertain you our time, and I will reference to history because I love history, and I will hopefully educate you about some history, but mostly I'm there to entertain. But I would also like you to, as you say, when it stays with you, I think part of it is I ask many, many questions in my fiction. I don't have any answers, but I have lots of questions, and I just want us to think about what we're doing. We're on this planet that is hurtling towards, the human race is hurtling towards self-destruction. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And we have, you know, strange things going on, like digging in sand for oil that's causing massive destruction of water supply. And I mean, it's a little bit, it's a crazy world. So that's my backdrop, is the craziness of our world. But in the forefront of that is a very human story, which I hope touches and entertains and is relatable.
Wow, that was nice. Let's ask you one final question. Is there anything we haven't covered? Is there anything you think of we haven't covered so far?
Well, did you look at your notes?
Well, let me check my notes.
Because his notes are amazing. And you're going, oh God, he's going to ask me something I don't know the answer to.
I think we pretty much covered everything.
I think ultimately, when you talk about the body of work, what I really feel we're missing in the 21st century is seeing what we have.
Wow, Cordelia, thank you again.
You're very welcome.
That was a long one.